Hey guys, welcome. Welcome aboard if you are brand new. Welcome back if you're not. And welcome home if that sits just fine for you. Today I want to do a pick a card reading for the next quarter, the last quarter of 2023. So September, October, November, and December of 2023. I want to cover three topics: your reality, your romance, and your resources. I've got three decks, so you can choose whichever one you'd like. This is the Spheres of Heaven Tarot, and there's a beautiful Rainbow Lattice Sunstone that sits with that deck, if that feels great for you. The center deck is the Celestial Tarot, and that has a lovely, lovely polished Rubellite. The final deck is Shadowscapes, and there's a tumbled Amethyst here. So just take a second, see which deck calls to you. Yeah, see how that feels. And remember, this is where your intuition becomes part of the magic, right? So let the energy of the deck speak to you. You can choose one, you can choose two, you can choose all. You can listen to the whole video, whatever works for you is absolutely fine and perfect. And like I said, today we're going to cover three topics: reality, romance, and resources. So just take a second, take a pick. We'll be right there. Okay, so for those of you who chose the Rainbow Lattice Sunstone and the Spheres of Heaven Tarot, let's go ahead and get moving. Like I said, we're going to make three different piles. We're going to talk about three different topics for this last quarter of 2023. We want to find out what's coming at you for your reality, your romance, and your resources. And I'm just going to choose 6 cards, thank you very much, for each of these topics. And then we're going to grab a few oracle cards and go from there. So remember, as we move into the fall and winter, we're coming toward that dark time of the year. And what that means specifically is that we're coming into that time of the year that requires us to be moving in faith, right? And so as we start to witness the darker days, longer periods of darkness, we get to explore that in a more beautiful way throughout that time of year. And that is what we're looking for, right? So we're looking for some insight as that time of year comes upon us, and as we move through those seasons that bring us deeper into ourselves, right? There's no life that we can witness growing or moving or changing outside of us. And so we have to really be mindful of the life that we are creating within, right? We're assessing, how did our seasons go? How did our year go? And as we want to make sure that we know where we're headed in that next part of that season, and we can plan more appropriately for next year, right? So that all the things that we did well, we get to modify for this next coming up year, and all the things that we needed to learn, we did. So we're going to start with reality, okay? Hang on just a shake. All right, guys, sorry. Okay, so let's get into your reality. Pile number 1, your beautiful Rainbow Lattice Sunstone, right? Let's start with, the path. Okay, so the path is about how you're writing your story, right? The path is about the way that you move according to your narrative. You also have the heart chakra. Lovely, that's lovely. I'm going to move this one over here out of the way. Mindful. Interesting. Okay, so let's talk about these three first. So since the path is about how you are writing your story, how you're moving as your own narrative, right? This is important because when we're talking about mindfulness and group think, this is about whether your mind is actually full of your own alignment or someone else's. So whose path are you following here, right? So let's see what our cards have to do in support of that message. So you've got the Wheel of Fortune, the King of Pentacles. Isn't that a great King of Pentacles? I love this deck so much. The artwork's so beautiful. The Lovers. This is in your reality, remember, not your romance. So let's pay attention. The Nine of Wands, Temperance, and the Six of Pentacles. Okay, so let's start having this conversation. Let's see what we've got here. So we're talking about your reality for the next quarter, the last quarter of 2023, right? And so we're talking about how you're aligned and how you're moving through that, whether you're in your alignment or not. So the Wheel of Fortune is talking about how you're moving, why you're moving, right? The wheel actually encompasses the fact that every part of your life is always in motion, right? We have been led to believe that we are stagnant creatures, that we are not in motion, that this is your fixed reality and this is how it works. But the fact of the matter is that your reality is always in motion, right? It's always destroying and creating itself anew. You're always having to put things down and move forward. You're having to open your hands so that you can grab the next thing, right? Like going across the monkey bars. The Nine of Wands is that card of, these are the things I require to keep, right? So the Ten of Wands tells us these are things we must put down. We have overburdened ourselves. But the Nine is where we really come into that completion of cycle, where we're really in discernment. Yes, this is what I'm willing to defend. This is where I'm willing to put my energy, right? This is how I'm going to write this piece of the story, because this is what feels good. The key here is what feels good to me. It's what feels good for me, right? This is the way I want to move. This is what's important to me to hold on to. This is aligned with my values and my trajectory, not someone else's, right? So then we have the King of Pentacles, which is all about resources, although we're still in reality. And we have Temperance. And Temperance allows us to be in synthesis, right? This is where we create that motion out of synthesis of what was and what is, of what we've learned and what we want to learn, of where we've been and where we're going, right? And the key here is all of that is available in the now. And none of it is outside of your now. So your reality is tempered by the way that you witness your either expansion or your contraction, in alignment with the way that you choose to build your foundations, right? The way you choose to build your foundations. Are they yours? Or are they a reflection of someone else's? Then you have the Lovers and the Six of Pentacles. The Six of Pentacles is the minor of the Justice card, right? This is where we are balanced, where we are in harmony, how we are in give and take. This is, I am so fully resourced that I have enough to give because I know that it will always be given back to me, right? This is that freedom of the heart chakra, which is always about understanding that we come from that place of unstruck, right? That's the word in Sanskrit, means the unstruck. It's in alignment with that phrase about love like you've never been hurt. This is the place of newness and unconditional motivation. This is the place upon which we want to start our story, right? That complete openness, the path that gives us everything. I mean, look at the potential in this card, right? It's lovely, it's beautiful. However, is it yours? You know, we have to always come back to that place of alignment to our own heart and soul. The Lovers and the Six of Pentacles asks you, are you in alignment with your own highest and best? Is that what you're giving? Because that's definitely what you're getting, right? What you're willing to defend is the outer limit of what you can achieve. And so if you're witnessing yourself in that cycle and you're writing the story at your highest trajectory, well, then you're always going to keep inviting yourself forward. You're always going to keep inviting yourself to the next step. And if you're willing to really create that as your most divine choice, right? The Lover's always being a card of divinely guided choices. And the Six of Pentacles saying it doesn't matter what you choose to give, you will always get it back in kind. The way that you're creating your reality is really simply to be in your highest alignment and to keep writing it in that story, right? To keep writing it as that story. Yeah. So always making sure that you're in flow and always making sure that you're gathering all of your information. So I think that this next quarter for you, pile number one, you gorgeous Rainbow Lattice Sunstone folks, is about choosing your reality, right? Learning to conjure your reality from your own heart space. And really knowing why and what you're asking when you move into that next step, right? Choosing your vibration as your vibration, and not someone else's, right? Just always reflexing back to you, back to yourself. Okay, that's reality, right? Let's move to romance, shall we? Okay, so you have the Dream Thief, right? Interesting. The Death Mother and Capricorn. Wow, that is quite a trio. Okay, so the key here for you, in terms of romance, right? This doesn't feel so romantic, but here's the deal. So the Dream Thief is the way that we allow ourselves to be seduced by an illusion, right? The way we allow our dreams to be shifted when we're not in line with our reality, right? With our current reality. And here's the deal. There's nothing wrong with dreams. They are lovely. But if you're not coming back to clarity on your dreams, you're going to get a little skewed, right? Now, this Death Mother, this is about what are you carrying forward, right? Are you hauling things into your consciousness that are better left as subconscious urges or things that don't belong, right? Have you healed all of your steps? Have you done that shadow work in order to be in your reality, to be in your presence, let's put it that way, in your personal presence, without carrying those wounds in from other places, right? The Death Mother requires for you to be here in your healed and highest form. So if there's work that you haven't done, right? If there's places where you're in illusion, if there's places where you're in distraction or addiction, you're not showing up. Now, Capricorn says you have to be here, right? This is a practical requirement. And because this is a romance reading, there are some action steps it seems that you're being asked to undertake. So let's look at your tarot. So you've got the Seven of Wands, the Five of Pentacles, the Tower. Okay. The Ten of Cups. Wow, that's lovely. The Fool. Oh, and the Two of Cups. Come on, guys. Look, okay. So this is very simple. Look at your message comes shining through. So the deal is, in the last quarter of 2023, you are going to be undertaking some serious shadow work to come to the reality of where you are instead of where you have been, right? Seven of Wands is a card of compelled defense, right? Like I have to step in and defend myself, right? This is a function of this Death Mother card. This is an easement of this Dream Thief card, right? And it is it is a challenge to this Capricorn energy. So that Seven of Wands says, yes, I have to be in this. I have to. I simply must defend myself. I know that I'm right. And perhaps at the expense of relationship. The Five of Pentacles is a card that often indicates that you feel left out or ignored or avoided or unseen in some way. And that can make you feel some kind of way. Here's the deal. This Tower card, right? The Tower, the beautiful Tower, is where you get your mind blown, right? Something will come in, perhaps through the dream time, but certainly through your healing or healing journey that will give you an insight, right? Pay attention, because it might be a dream. That will give you literally a practical action step, whatever it is, that's going to give you this. And come on, this is amazing. The Ten of Cups, we've done this. Look at our beautiful, fulfilling, satisfying, blissful life, right? The Ten of Cups is absolute joy and bliss shared, not even just with a partner, but with the whole spectrum of the life that you create, right? Everybody wants this. This is like happiness dripping down your chin. The Fool, new journeys, new beginnings, right? What a beautiful way to synthesize all of this energy as the new journey. And Two of Cups, balanced happiness, right? Shared happiness. Lovely, absolutely lovely. So you may have that, let's call it a watershed moment where you are required, absolutely required to do your work. But boy, the reward. So look out for that, pile number one. And whatever it's bringing to you in terms of your own heart happiness, boy, that's going to be great. I can't wait to hear about it. Let's move on to your resources, shall we? All right, you've got the Net Caster. Lovely. That is kind of lovely. Ooh, the Elephant. I love that. And the Third Eye Chakra. Okay, so let's talk about these three cards. So Third Eye Chakra is always about the way that we are able to intuit and perceive truth, our highest truth, right? The Elephant is about groups. It's about imperceptible communication, right? Deep intuition, right? So riding a hunch, understanding, elephants have that capacity to communicate across long distances simply through those really low frequency vibrations that travel through the earth for miles and miles and miles. And so one group of elephants can speak to another group of elephants that are miles and miles and miles away to let them know of danger or water or even the death of a loved one, right? So this is about your deep intuition. And here's the deal, Netcaster, preparations that come to fruition, right? So you're going to be so on target for this last quarter. Let's see what your tarot has to say, please. Ooh, lovely. Nine of Pentacles, Page of Swords, doggone Ace of Wands, pile number one. You guys, Nine of Cups, really? Come on. The Justice card and the Six of Swords. Oh, wow. Okay, so let's have this conversation. So not only do you have wish fulfillment, but you also have self-sufficiency. You have self-fulfillment, right? What a beautiful thing to have in your resource area. You have the Page of Swords, which is the absolute abundant flow of ideas and the motion accompanied by them. Justice, which is about balancing actions and thoughts. It's about balancing feelings and logic, right? It's about the way that you move as the balance instead of the balancing, right? And then you've got the Ace of Wands, which is all about things just being poured out and given to you, and the Six of Swords, which is about transition of ideas. So something that you're working on, or something that's coming in for you, right, is just going to be explosively powerful for you. Whether or not this takes you into collaboration with another or with a group, that's up to you. But you will know. You'll know if that's correct. Pile number one, you'll absolutely know if that's right. Your intuition is going to be spot on, right? This is wish fulfillment. This is beautiful. You may have to weigh some motion with an outcome, right? But always knowing that where you're going is always going to be divinely led, right? So as long as you're flowing in your own ideas, right, with your own intuition leading you, you kind of can't miss, right? Preparations come to fruition. I mean, that's quite lovely, and it's an amazing total message. So however it is that you're going to be supported, right? Because elephants are always supported in their family group, in their pod. I don't know if that's actually the right word, but in the group of elephants, they're always supported. They're so tightly knit, right? So however that feels right for you, however you recognize your tribe, absolutely, you're going to be doing that. Also, this is about inspiration and deeply passionate subjects, right? These two speak to that passionate movement that is both fully supported and emotionally fulfilling. And then, you know, you're going to be so solid in your own personal grounding that no matter where the journey ends up taking you, all you're going to do is win, right? Yeah. So pile number one, you Rainbow Lattice Sunstone people, absolutely amazing last quarter. Remember to keep in your alignment and do all that work that's required, and do not ignore those incoming messages when you find them, because you will have all of the power at your disposal, personally and collectively, to put those into motion. So I want to hear how this goes for you. Hit the subscribe button and make sure you come back and let me know. Take care. Big blessings. Okay, pile number two people with your lovely, lovely Rubellite and the Celestial Tarot. Let's go ahead and get in. All of your Oracle decks have been reshuffled. So let's talk about what is coming in for this last quarter of 2023. For your reality, for romance, and for resources. And so what we're going to do is we're going to draw some tarot, and we're going to pull some oracle cards, and we're going to go through each subject and see what is coming in for you through this next quarter. And the thing that I do want to talk about is, as we go into this darker part of the year, right, we get to the point where you know, the dark and light are equal, of course. We have the darkest days of the year, and we have to move through on faith, right? Faith that the light will return. And so I kind of like to witness this last quarter of the year as the test of what you have accomplished for 2023 so far, and the way that you're going to move through the next quarter of this year in order to take stock of where we've been, take stock of what has worked for you, of what has not worked for you, and where we can assess and move differently, right? To plan for 2024 while being in function for 2023 for the rest of this year. Mostly because we definitely want to stay present, right? We want to stay present, especially in these three areas of reality and romance and resources. They're pretty important, and we definitely don't want to kind of fall out of line with any of them. So let's just kind of gather these up. So that will be our reality. This will be our romance. This will be our resources. Okay. All right, pile number 2. Let's get down to it. Let's talk about what's coming in for this last quarter of 2023 for you. Let's start with your reality. So you start with lost compass, getting back to integrity. You have the Ouroboros, beautiful. The serpent. Well, that's interesting, because these cards are basically repeats of one another, right? So we have the serpent and the Ouroboros, which is chasing the serpent's tail. It's the serpent that's constantly consuming its own tail, right? So in the endless cycle of death and rebirth, of self-awareness. So this is about self-actualization. The message of this serpent card, the message of that serpent card is about being wary, but also, I think that the message is the same here. So let's look at the total, right? We're talking about the shape of these cards, the nature of the serpent. And so here, getting back to integrity, right? What is integrity for you? Where have you been pulled out of alignment? And since we're talking about your reality here, pile number 2, the question becomes, where have you fallen victim perhaps to the lure of something else, something outside of yourself, something that's not quite in your integrity? Let's pull your tarot and see what we've got here. So we have the Ace of Wands, the Six of Cups, the Prince of Cups, lovely, the Sun, the Two of Pentacles, and the King of Pentacles. Okay, so let's have this conversation. So we're talking about new ways of coming into your own here, right? And there's no doubt that in this quarter, your journey is going to be to come back into your own, right? Whatever comes in, this Ace of Wands idea, this something new, right? And so we have to always be aware that aces are gifts, of course, from the universe that have to be grasped and then put into action, right? We can't just put a wand in our back pocket and wait until, we think the time is right and then utilize that. No, we have to be in motion with that. We have to be prepared for an ace, or we have to be prepared to be unprepared for an ace. And so as we're talking about your reality, right, that Six of Cups is acting in a way that perhaps, let's call it, is a former habit of yours, right? You may have become, let's call it, jaded, or you may have become too reliant on logic as opposed to moving through the world in a way that feels good, right? So is there a way where you have become too embedded in a quest for results, a quest for, I don't want to say like financial gain, but where your ambition has overshadowed the way that you are moving because of your passion, because this is the thing that makes you happy, right? And so perhaps your reality is being called, right? There's nothing wrong, by the way, with moving as in response to your drive, your ambition, whatever you want to accomplish in the world is 100% okay. But forgetting that your heart has to be fulfilled generally isn't. And so there's a beautiful way to come into balance with that, right? These two cards are asking you, where's your balance? Where is your balance, right? The Six of Cups wants you to be in that space of, you know, that saying, dance like no one's watching, love like you've never been hurt, that beautiful place of unstruck, right? The Six of Cups is nostalgia. How did you start this journey? How did you start your journey? And is that still the way that you're moving, right? Or have you shifted your motion to be in response to something else? Perhaps something that's no longer relevant, perhaps something that doesn't feel right. Right? That King of Pentacles wants you to know you have all the power, you have all the resources in order to create your reality. But what you do with it is up to you. And the key here is to be in creation of what's going to open you to the widest space, right? Pay attention to all these circles, right? This is asking you, are you working in circles? What is your true north? What is really inviting you forward? And what is going to create for you the resulting reality that makes you happy, that allows you to shine brightly, right? That allows you to be in constant creation and destruction of yourself without concern for someone else's response or someone else's judgment or someone else's profit, right? So the way that you're creating your reality has to be in alignment with you, has to fulfill you, has to bring you the result, right? This is a card of Saturn and of Capricorn saying you have the power to create your reality. But if you're not looking up, if you're not looking inward to allow that to define your path, what are you really creating anyway? You know, you have the power to juggle it. You have the power to illuminate it in such a beautiful way, as long as you're willing to be mindful of what you're creating in your highest and best. And so whatever way you need to get back to your integrity, that's what you're being asked to do for this last quarter. Just evaluate your own motives, your own plans, and make sure that the way that you're moving is the way that you want to move, right? That's how we create our reality. Yeah, big lessons. Let's move into your romance, shall we? The Horseman, the Herald of Change. Fascinating. You have the Selkie. Beautiful. Okay. Ooh, and Libra. Before we talk about this, let's just knock your tarot cards out here. So you have Temperance. Oh yeah, the Ten of Swords. The Four of Pentacles. The Fool. Oh, you guys, this is awesome. The Two of Cups. And the Ten of Wands. Okay, so, wow, pile number 2. Well, whatever's going on for you in terms of romance, I say already, I'm going to congratulate you in advance, because what you're going through and what you're working toward is coming, right? It might require a little bit of work, but the rewards are amazing. So let's talk about this. So let's talk about the Scottish myth of the Selkie, right? So these are female mer creatures who come in as seals, and they shed their skin. And then sometimes what happens is wily men will come, and while their skin is shed, they can kind of capture these females, right? And then they are under the spell of this male until they find their own skin. And so this is always a card about empowerment and taking back your own power and your own identity. Okay, so excuse me, we have Libra, which is the card of the other, right? This is the card of how we are in relationship, how we balance ourselves and ourselves with other, right? This is how we witness ourselves in relationship, and whether or not we're in balance of power or not, right? This is where we start talking about things like codependency and narcissism, and where we find our own balance, right? Libra is about beauty and harmony, right? Which is a thing that we're all looking for. The Horseman, Herald of Change. This is about how we're. So this is a warrant of shift, a warrant of change, right? This is about what you're speaking about, how you're telling the story, how you're imbuing and embedding your future as you tell that story, right? So if you're a doom and gloom naysayer, like for example, there are no good men left in the world. Really? That's exactly what you're drawing to yourself. How about all women are gold diggers? Well, guess what? That's exactly what you're going to find in every woman you find. So if you're heralding change, if you're heralding your highest and best, if you're heralding your balance, your freedom, and your independence within a relationship, then that's exactly what you're going to get. So let's talk about these cards. Here we have Temperance. Temperance is a card of synthesis, right? This is how our experience and our knowledge creates wisdom, right? This is how we temper our expectation, right? How we forge that next right step, right? This is it's a fire card. It's it's about what we're calling in, the way that we're motioning toward that next step, but yet pulling on what we have experienced in the past. So again, we're talking about how we have created the experience of our romantic relationships based on our expectations, our witnessing of where our power belongs, our witnessing of how much we deserve in a relationship, where our sense of give and take might be, right? So you have both the Ten of Swords and the Ten of Wands. So this is a shift in ideas and a release of those things that are not serving. We also have the Four of Pentacles. The Four of Pentacles says, I'm just going to hold back. I'm just going to hold on to this thing. So perhaps there are things or ways that you're holding on to right now, right? We have Venus and Taurus here. This Libra card moves in concert with that energy and says, wait, let's balance what we're holding back with what we're giving away. This Ten of Swords is a place of required change, right? This says this situation is untenable. So there's something in your romantic life, pile number 2, that is no longer making you happy. And whatever that is, the last quarter of 2023 is going to bring you to the place where you move as your required change. Sometimes it's about ideas, and sometimes it's about the way that you're moving. But whatever, regardless, this is what's happening for you. This story is about to change because you're going to tell it in a different way. Here's the thing. You have the Fool and you have the Two of Cups. The Two of Cups is a beautiful card to have in this spot of romance for this next quarter. This is bliss. This is happiness, right? This is shared connection. This is intimacy. This is the way that you fill your cup and the way your cup gets filled. So this is absolutely blessed union. So whatever shifts or changes you're making, if you have a current relationship, look for ways to do that. The Fool asks you, look for a way that you might not even expect, right? This might be something absolutely coming in that is brand new for you, that requires you to be almost in free fall, trusting that the situation is what it is, right? And however you have to let go to make that happen, whether that's in idea or in reality, all you have to do is claim your power. All you have to do, I say it like that, right? Like all you have to do is claim your power. Do the work to claim your power. Let me put it that way. Find the reasons to expand. Find the place and the way that you are able to temper all that's happened to you and come out with that new strategy, that new plan, right? Certainly we do our learning in isolation, right? Within our own being, but we have to test those things in relationship. And whatever it is that you're about to do is going to shift and change all of the things in your romance life. Pile number 2. So that is quite lovely. And remember that these cards ask you to move in such a way that you know what's coming is for you, right? And guess what? Everything is always for you. So tell the story in that way. Beautiful. Claim your power. I love it. That's amazing. Yeah. Okay. Let's get to your resources. Pile number 2 for the next quarter of 2023. So you're preparing the veil, repairing the veil, which is about forgiveness. Look at that. So lovely. I like that. You have the path. You know what? Pile number 1 also got the path. So there might be some messages for you in pile number 1. And you have Mercury. Lovely. Okay, so let's have this conversation. So the path is about how you're writing your story and how it moves you along, right? So the ways that we tell our story, right? We talked about that in your romance reading. But the way that you're telling your story, if it's not including forgiveness, there's not a lot of compassion in that, right? And so Mercury is giving you that option to be very agile in your communication, very precise also. Perhaps as we're coming out of a current Mercury retrograde, as we move further into that last quarter, you can find ways to be more precise or perhaps more descriptive or simply more in your own expression as you choose to move through some forgiveness. Let's see what Tarot has to say for you. So you've got the Hermit. Okay, that makes perfect sense. You've got the 7 of Swords, the 5 of Cups, the 3 of Swords, the 10 of Cups, and the Ace of Cups. Okay, so remember, we're talking about your resources here, right? So the ways that you feel resourced, the ways that you feel connected, provided for, supported, right? That's what we're really talking about when we're talking about resources. It can be about your tangible wealth, but it can also be about your intangible values. You get to determine which of those are more important at any given time. One might say that you can't have one without the other, and whichever one you're talking about, you can make a case. So let's kind of get into this here. So this is about telling your story and how you express it. There might be some ways that you have to change the way that you're speaking to or about yourself, in so much that, when we write ourselves a ticket that says, this is as far as I can go, that's as far as you can go. So it would seem to me, pile number 2, that you have been doing some work in that area, right? The Hermit invites you to look within, to find really that light in the darkness, and to keep looking for it, and to let it shine your way, right? What do we find in the darkness? Well, we find everything that we find in the light, but there we're responsible to illuminate it ourselves. So 7 of Swords, this is about betrayal. This is about deceit. And quite often I witness the 7 of Swords as a card of self-deceit or self-betrayal, right? The way that you tell yourself a story that's not quite true. The way that you tell yourself a story that might not be actually the way it happened, or that might have a little bit of embellishment that makes it look like you might not have been as involved in the fault of the story. We also have the 5 of Cups and the 3 of Swords. So here's the deal. The 3 of Swords is how we're taking that story and personalizing it, right? How we make it about our loss, our betrayal, our sadness. Not to say that those are not real emotions, but sometimes we have to really witness where our focus on something that was not moving us forward created a situation where we told a story that kept us out of our whatever it is we're trying to get to. So the Five of Cups is how we're looking backward at what has been spilled instead of at the things we have in our availability, right? So it's about mourning over 3 spilled cups as opposed to celebrating the 2 cups that are waiting for you. So this is what I lost, what I regret, what I have resentment for, where I missed out, right? All of those things, those feelings and the ideas associated with them. And as we move through and write that new story, right, and claim responsibility for the story, claim our part in the story, repair the veil, right, create ourselves as forgiven, right, for whatever it was that got us there. Then we move to this Ace of Cups card, which aces, of course, as we know, these are gifts. We have to put them into motion. How am I going to fill this cup? How did these 2 get filled, right? Well, guess what? They never weren't. They never weren't. Whatever spilled wasn't for you to begin with. And so at this place where you say, in fact, this cup is mine. It's always been mine. This is my path, right? To fill my own cup, to repair whatever it is that I perceived as loss or sadness or betrayal, to claim my place as the one expressing in this story. That's what brings you to that 10 of Cups, right? 10 of Cups is that beautiful card of, look what we've done. And this isn't, again, just your emotional satisfaction and bliss and fulfillment, right? This is shared. This is, look, I have all these cups. Let me just give them away because I have so much abundant blessing and bliss and happiness and satisfaction and contentment that I can just pour it out for everybody, right? So allow your cup to be filled in this way, whatever this resource is for you. And I get a strong sense, pile number 2, that your resource journey has more to do with your internal resources than anything actually in the world, right? But remember that the more you have your own value and worth, right? Because we do have this absolutely gorgeous butterfly, right? This is all about transformation. And so the more you repair your own value and worth, the more you're able to claim yourself as a resource and a resource for others, right? So this is about becoming abundant as yourself and then allowing abundance to follow you, to just be magnetized to you so that you end up becoming the embodiment of this 10 of Cups. So that is your message regarding resources for the last quarter of 2023, pile number 3, with the beautiful Rubellite stone. So I love these messages for you. Let me know how this turns out for you. Hit subscribe so you can come back and tell me. And if this is where we're done, then be blessed. And if not, I'll see you in pile number 3. Take care. All right, pile number 3. Tumbled amethyst, folks. Let's go ahead and get into your pile, shall we? And remember that what we are doing here is talking about the last of 2023, the final quarter of 2023 for you. And we're breaking that down into 3 subjects. So we're talking about your reality and your romantic life and your resources. And I think it's always important to kind of have an idea of what we have done well in any given year and what we need to do perhaps more of or less of in the following year. And so this is a great way to get prepared as we move into that dark section of the year. That is the end, right, of 2023, moving into 2024. How exciting. And so the way that we do that is to really kind of witness where we have excelled, where we perhaps have not loved as much what we have accomplished, or the way that it felt as we did that. And so in all of those ways, we get to assess and reevaluate and move forward in a new or better way. And so I think this is a great kind of period of the year as we're moving forward to, to take that stock, to find out where we're going, what we want to carry with us, what we want to do differently next time, and all of those kinds of things and ways and options. So let's get at it, shall we? Alrighty, so we're going to start with your reality. And the key here when we're talking about your reality is that we're talking about what you're experiencing and what you're creating. So you have the eyes of the eagle rising above the fray. You have memory and earth. Okay, so what comes in immediately for me in terms of your reality is how are you stuck in a pattern because of calling in your former experience instead of moving into something new, right? And so here's what I mean. We have earth energy, which is super grounded, super tangibly attached to the earth, right? We have memory, which is memory is fragile, right? Memory wants to draw upon itself all the time. Memory is how we're telling a story. And if we have the eyes of the eagle here that's inviting you to that new height, it's impossible to get to the new height if you're constantly coming back to what has been, what has been, what has been. Let's see what we've got here. We've got the 9 of Wands, the 10 of Wands, beautiful pairing, the 8 of Swords, the World, lovely, the Ace of Swords, and the Queen of Wands. Well, this is lovely. Okay, so this is great validation for this absolute message here. So let's start with the 8 of Swords. The 8 of Swords is about believing yourself to be stuck, believing yourself to be stagnant, believing yourself to be unable to move forward, right? So if you remember a time when you were stuck, a time when you were unable to move, this is the 8 of Swords. This is the manifestation of the 8 of Swords, right? So we also have the 9 and the 10 of Wands. 9 of Wands is about feeling like you have to defend yourself. Feeling like you have to keep coming back to the thing and saying, well, this is because, well, oh, I'm so sorry, I'm so sorry, I'm so sorry. Or this is why, this is why, this is why, right? That constant need for justification, self-defense. And the 10 of Wands says, wait, this is a little bit much. What can we put down here? What can we divest ourselves of so that we're not stuck in this trap, right? This trap, this limitation, this block, so that we're not encased in this prison of belief and expectation, right? The eyes of the eagle says, hold up, are you sure? Are you sure that's how it goes? Right? Being grounded is one thing. Being stuck or buried is another entirely. So let's scoot down a row. Talk about the World, which is about cycle completion. It's about learning a lesson and integrating the learning, right? 9 of Wands is learning a thing. This is where I'm in defense. 10 of Wands is the integration. This is what I'm going to put down, as well as the idea behind it, right? That is a full cycle of learning. The Ace of Swords is that idea coming in that says, wait, maybe you're not actually stuck, right? Maybe, in fact, you never were stuck at all. Maybe you just believed that you were stuck, or maybe there was a story that you heard or that you accepted or that you called in from another dimension or another lifetime that kept you here in this stagnant position. What if that idea sets you free, right? And that Queen of Wands is all about the embodiment, all about living in your passion, in your heart, in such a way that perhaps just because it wasn't always your reality doesn't mean it can't be, right? So I think this last quarter of your reality, pile number 3, is going to be about really witnessing where you're in limitation, where your belief in a limitation is keeping you back. And somehow you're going to be able to rise above that, right? You know, sometimes I think the reason that we can't levitate is because we don't believe we can levitate, right? We believe that gravity pulls us back to earth every time. And so perhaps, right, you get to experience levitation as you rise above this old pattern, this old memory, this old place of stuckness, right? Wherever you've been pierced with these swords of belief that are keeping you stuck, that are keeping you in defense, that are keeping you on alert, on guard, right? You don't have to be alert or on guard. You can live in your passion. Sometimes it just takes the awareness of the fact that you don't have to be there. That's not where you have to be. And you can be just as grounded and rooted in a beautiful way, as opposed to grounded and rooted in a way that might be painful, that might be laden with suffering or beliefs in suffering or feelings of suffering. You can actually rise above that. You can integrate that cycle and move forward where that is just a memory that we learned from, right? That we stepped up on top of and said, oh, I've got this, right? Memory is ancestral. Memory is ancestral, right? And so if you're witnessing this as part of your reality, not the totality of your reality, right? Yeah, that's how you're going to move forward. So make sure that you're always in constant survey of where you are, where your perspective is coming from, what you're viewing, what you're seeing, right? And make sure that your reality is reaching from that highest vision and not stuck in your expectation, right? That's a big shift for you. And it will definitely change your reality for the last quarter of 2023, pile number 3. Let's move into romance, shall we? Here you have the lay of the land, right? Ancestral wisdom. Interesting. We just talked about that. You have the koi fish. Ooh, how lovely. And Mars. Okay, that is some pretty powerful information right there. Let's go ahead and look at your tarot before we keep moving here. So you have the 4 of Cups, the 2 of Swords, the 8 of Pentacles, the 5 of Wands, the Queen of Pentacles, and the 4 of Pentacles. Okay, so we are talking about romance here. Okay, so here's what let's just walk it through. Okay, let's walk it through. So koi fish is a mythological figure, and the koi fish is a fish that swims upstream against all odds and turns into a glorious dragon, right? Mars. That's Mars energy, right? We push forward. We move with the lay of the land because we know ancestrally where to go, right? We understand how to migrate, how to move through because of ancestral wisdom. This moves right into your message about your reality, right? So this dovetails really nicely in with that. Let's keep talking. 4 of Cups, it's about boredom, right? Maybe, sort of a little, maybe a lack of excitement, although that could definitely be changing. 2 of Swords, this is about confusion, right? And let's remember that the 2 of Swords has this gorgeous heart always within it, right? We're making decisions. And And the key here is always to make a decision based on your heart, right? So we're always looking to find the place where our love and logic can intersect, and we can move forward based on the balance of both of those things, right? So if you're feeling bored, maybe what you're looking for is a little bit of inspiration. So Eight of Pentacles, this is about mastery, but this is also a card of devotion and dedication. And so if you're not in a relationship, but you're looking to be one, perhaps the devotion you're looking for is a little bit of self-devotion, right? Perhaps your boredom is coming from the fact that you're not engaged, right? This is about your actions. This is about your journey right now. So it would seem to me that perhaps your question about romance is about, are you loving on yourself? Let's keep going. Five of Wands. In a romance reading, this is a blockage, right? And I literally mean a block. So take that for what it's worth. This is where we hold on to an idea or a belief because we believe that it's right. And we have long since stopped caring whether we're right. We just can't release our grip on the notion. You have the Queen of Pentacles. This is gorgeous, sensual energy, right? This is the embodiment of all of those beautiful things, love and romance, and the way that we see the world, the way that we feel the world, the way we taste it, the way it smells, right? This is face first living here. But the Four of Pentacles says maybe there's a little hold back, right? This is about conservation. This is about, yeah, I see it, but I'm just going to keep my stuff right here. Like, I'm not willing to extend myself. So you have these two fours, right? This is about boredom and the maintenance of the status quo. I think, pile number 2, you're being asked to embark on your own journey of dragonhood. So whether or not this means going back to the gym and really allowing yourself to become the dragon, whether this means starting to write poetry and allowing your expression to become your dragon, and not holding back, right? Not being in your own way, but instead devoting yourself to yourself, dedicating yourself to yourself, right? Those are two different things, right? We know that motivation is one thing and devotion and dedication is another entirely, because motivation allows you to say, yeah, that's what I want to pick. That sounds great. But if you don't have the power of devotion and dedication behind it, those are just words and they don't get you anywhere, right? They just create a thing where it says, oh, this is what I want to do. This is what I want to do. This is what I want to do. Are you going to do it? Are you going to do it? So I believe that you're being asked in terms of romance to become the person in which you want to fall in love. Right? If you're already in love or you already have a romantic relationship, I think you're being asked to expand yourself in some way, right? You already know this way, by the way. This is just a choice of doing it and then putting your action behind it. And whatever it is, it's about not blocking yourself. It's about not saying, oh, that's silly or that's stupid or that's whatever. Who would want somebody who does that? Well, guess what? For every freak, there's a co-freak. For every weirdo, there's a co-weirdo. So whatever it is that you want to do, whatever kind of dragon you want to become, I guarantee you there's somebody that's waiting to find that kind of dragon. So I mean, okay, wait, look. I just happened to notice that our guy here is a dragon, right? So let's just take that and we're just going to leave that message right there because I don't even think we have to talk any more about that. I think we've got it. Pull in your ancestral wisdom. You already know how to navigate what you want to navigate. Doing it, right? This is about doing it. Stop talking about it. Stop saying, oh, I just don't know. Nope. It's time to do. Make your decision do it. No more waffling. No more waffling. No more blocking. Dragging up. Pile number 3. All right, let's talk about your resources here. Caterpillar. Opportunity. Well, that's lovely. And remember that resources are about tangible and intangible things. Death Mother. Pile number 1 got Death Mother as well. So there might be some messages for you in that pile if you're so inclined. You also have the Caduceus. Lovely. This is a symbol of Mercury, symbol of healing. Yeah, interesting. Let's just go ahead and pull up your tarot here right away. So you've got the Knight of Swords, the 6 of Swords, the 10 of Cups. Every single pile got the 10 of Cups. Oh, that's a 2. Sorry, 2 of Cups. Well, they did get the 2 of Cups as well. The Magician, the Star, and the Tower. Wow, those are a lot of biggies at the bottom here. Okay, so let's take a second here. So what are you pulling in, right? Where are you healed? Where are you wounded? And what are you doing in terms of your healing journey to move forward as an opportunity? This is about resources. So remember, tangible or intangible, value, small v, big V, worth, small w, big W, right? You get to pick. And quite often the messaging comes in as both. So we're going to pay attention to all of those things. So the Death Mother asks you, where are you healed? Where are you healing? What are you trying to recreate in terms of your foundations, right? What are you pulling in from your past? And where are you building a healthy new start, right? Because death is all about transformation. Okay, sure it is. So the Caduceus is about healing. This is about the way that we message our healing, the story we tell around our healing, the way that we do that work. So in any place where you know that you have shadow work to do, you are absolutely being advised to do that in a supported way, right? 100% supported. So let's talk about Caterpillar. So there's a beautiful blending here of feline energy and that potential, right? So how you're transforming is all of the nuanced ways that you create an opportunity for yourself. Remember that felines are among apex predators, right? And so the way that we are in fear, the way that we are in claim of things that are not healed or whole, always informs the way that we're going to allow ourselves to come into fullness. So all of those things that you have to let go of so that you can go through that green goo phase of healing and then really spread your wings into this gloriously transformed state is what you're being asked to pay attention to in terms of your resources. Let's look at your cards here. So you've got the Knight of Swords, right? So the Knight of Swords is about moving forward with your ideas, right? Moving forward. 6 of Swords is about transforming through those ideas. And quite often this is done in a way where you have a facilitator or an advisor or a helper, right? 6 of Swords is how we shift our ideas. Perhaps that person who is helping with your transformation is the person who allows you to move forward in a supported way. You also have the 2 of Cups. And again, we really want to focus on that heart healing, right? This is the way that we're able to fill our own cup and then share with another, right? We don't, there's no 50-50 in a relationship. It's 100-100. That doesn't mean we're always giving the same amount because there is a balance, but you can't come to a relationship unhealed and expect your highest to manifest. You just can't. It doesn't work that way. So you have to go through your own transformation. You have to work on your own healing journey before you can be half of 100% relationship. And the way that we move through that, guess what? We can have that person be our facilitator sometimes, but not all the time. So down here, let's look. We've got the Magician, the Star, and the Tower. I kind of am interested in how these are sitting, right? So we've got the Magician. This is about elemental magic. This is about really understanding that you are in control of your story and your power and your transformation. We might not always know exactly what those wings are going to look like, but by gosh, we know those wings are coming, right? We know those wings are coming. We know that on the other side of transformation, no matter what, is something beautiful. Whether we recognize that in our caterpillar phase doesn't matter, right? Where you are is so that you want to move forward so that you can be in receipt of those Two of Cups. And so the way that we choose to wield our own magic, right? These are both cards of Magician, because what is a magician if not a manifester, if not a healer, if not a creator? And both of these cards are asking you to be in the capacity to wield your magic. The Death Mother requires that you do the work, right? So this is kind of like a triangulation. Each one of these is a required step in order for you to move forward, in order for you to transition, in order for you to carry forward your ideas, your beliefs, your claims in what is coming and what you're creating. You also have the Star here, where the universe is literally pouring out for you power and blessings and fulfillment on whatever this is. And the Tower reminds you, don't hold on, right? Let it be blown apart if blown apart is what it needs to be. Let it come apart at the seams if coming apart at the seams is what gets you through, right? Part of caterpillar magic is the willingness to release all expectation of structure or order and witness the chaos as the magic, right? So if the universe is giving you that cosmic blessing to really move through whatever it is, knowing that your heart is always valued and worthy at the center of it, whatever comes next is brilliance. Whatever comes next is magic. Whatever comes next is opportunity, right? And so witnessing yourself in the final stages of whatever it is you're moving through right now, of whatever it is that you're being asked to move through, so that you can become in that next phase. Remember that you're always in control. Remember that this is a wish granted, and that no matter what form it comes in, the serendipity will always replace any trepidation or fear on your part. And so no matter how it shows up and no matter what you're asked, remember that caterpillaring is always a function of faith. How we face that. Look at this transitioner. Look, moving from one phase to the next. Look at how supported she's allowing herself to be, moving on that beautiful swan away from that area of turbulence to something that is absolutely contented and satisfied, right? This is where you're moving. Do you have the capacity to trust the journey? I think you're being asked to trust your journey, pile number 3. So please, absolutely come back and let me know. Hit subscribe so you can. I wish you nothing but luck, and thank you so much for listening. Take big care and enjoy this shift.